Hey YouTube, this is Grace Car Driver Garage. Well, today I want to show you a little update on the Miata. A project is never finished. I always come across some new idea, new thought about doing something different. The Miata was wrecked, a little old 99 Miata, and I just cut everything off of it that was beat up and tried to make something useful out of it, something we can just ride around in. It's fun. It's not fast, but it's fun. It's an attention getter, that's for sure. But when my wife first saw it, she said it looked like a Hot Wheels car. And I was like, okay, Hot Wheels cars either have a big engine sticking out of the hood or a combination of a big engine and crazy exhaust. Well, I don't have money to put into a big engine. So it's got the stock little 1.8 or whatever it is, 4-cylinder, has a header on it. That's about it. Different intake for, not intake, but filter system for the intake. That's about it. There's a few things I'd like to do, but man, it's so expensive to do anything on Mazdas. And if you want to go like turbo, I've thought about turbo, but going with the tunable computer ECU, those are too expensive for what I want to do. If I was to do anything with it, upgrade engine wise, I'd probably pull the 3800 V6 out of Freebird, Angry Bird. I'm still debating on that a little bit. Started out with Angry Bird and I changed it to Freebird. Anyway, I would transplant that V6 into here, which would double the horsepower. And then I'd put a LS and the in Angry Bird, Freebird. That would be an upgrade for both of them. Leave them NA, way more power than what you need. So anyway, I just want to show you what I did, because I'm like, I can't do anything with engine wise. Put a little accents on it to just dress it up a little bit. But I was like, you know what I can do? I can make some crazy exhaust. So I want to introduce you to the upgrade. May have got a little hint of it a while back. Wife posted a video and it had it. I don't know how many of y'all caught it, but here's what the Miata has now. The Miata, if you look there, the Miata has side pipes. Not just one pipe, but one on each side. Try to keep this from flipping around too much on you. Stainless steel. I ended up having to put a baffle in there, but then I changed the muffler because that thing was stupid loud. With the same muffler it had going out the back, wind that into, well, I'll show you. Let me show you what I did. Alright guys, so this is what I did. I've got those tips are what used to be considered on the Trans Ams. I like the way they look. That's welded there. Now, I'm not a professional welder by no means. I just build things for me, okay? There's probably a lot better ways to do them, but my ways have succeeded for my use, so I'm not worried about it. Anyway, right here is a V-band, just because I have that baffle I put in there to try to quieten it down. I can't take it loose right there. What I ended up doing, because of the 4-cylinder engine, there's the header, comes back here, it goes into this ginormous muffler, and yes, that hangs down a little bit lower than some things on the vehicle, but I have it, as you can see here, it's not skin up. We went I drove it all the way to Cheaha State Park in Alabama, and there and back, no issues. But it goes header into that one, splits out into two, because I got one pipe on each side. Then I had to go all the way back around. Now this side I just got through wrapping with some header wrap just to cool it off a little bit. And it's tucked up right against, I mean, it is against the floor, so that gives a little bit of insulation and for vibration keep that from rattling. It was rattling a little bit on my way back from Alabama, just to quieten that down a little bit, take some of that rattle out of it. But then I had to go out the other side, so that's all the way to the rear end back here to be able to put the muffler, because that muffler is way bigger than what I planned. Just because every muffler, I started out with a glass pack, one of these right here. Then I went to 2 of those. Then I went to a X pipe with 2 of those. Then I went into this one here. This one here is supposed to be, if you look down in there, it's got the little, if you can see down in there, it's got little teeth in it, just to grab a little bit. It's supposed to be make it quieter. One of those and the 2. And it just, I couldn't get it to quieten down. So I found the only muffler I could find that is a 3-inch inlet, 2 1/4 outlet, and that is factory muffler, supposedly for a, I guess you'd call it a square body Chevrolet pickup. And it's actually quieter now than it's ever been since I've owned it. Still got a little exhaust sound, it's not whisper quiet, but it's got a little sound to it. But you can definitely drive it down the road. I had one friend of mine said, man, that's because it's exiting right there beside your head is the reason it's so loud. And it is, but it was just obnoxious loud. We drove it one day and we ended up having to wear earplugs, and it was still too loud. But it was all because of I think I'm not a professional by no means. I'm not smart, but the only thing I can figure, I have a glass pack, one of those cherry bombs on my wife's Suburban. I also have one of those on her Suburban's a 05. I have a 06 Silverado, same muffler on it. And I have the same muffler on a 07 Tahoe. All 3 of those have V8s in them. And they've got some rumble to them, but they're not obnoxiously noisy. And then I went to this muffler here. That is a 3-chamber. I had this on here. That 3-chamber right there. Dual inlet, dual outlet. It was a little quieter, but it was still too noisy. So I ended up with is this, and the only thing I can think of, because that 3-chamber right there, I had one just like that on Freebird with the V6. It sounds good. It's not stupid noise. So all I can figure is the size of the pipe, and this little 4-cylinder engine compared to a V6 and a V8 doesn't have the airflow, the exhaust flow for those mufflers to actually do anything. So going with this quiet muffler, it's probably louder than it would be on a V8 just because it just don't have the airflow. That's my thought process. That's the only thing that adds up to me. Also, because of me having to do this the way I did, I had to do away with the I don't know what they call it, but the Camaros have it, the Miatas have it. It's a bar that goes from right here on the transmission, and it goes all the way down here and ties into the rear end. I can't remember what they call that thing, but it ties that in, and that's what keeps your rear end from twisting, like that. So I had to do away with that to have enough room for this muffler. Actually, I did away with it before I got this muffler with the other mufflers, trying to get them to fit. So they sell a kit to fix that, eliminate that bar, like a torque. It's kind of like a torque tube, I guess, like on a Corvette, but the drive shaft doesn't go down through it. Anyway, the Camaros have the same thing. But what I ended up doing, I made this bracket here for my transmission mount. Bolts through the floor, ties in, goes up over my exhaust, ties in there. You can buy a bracket that's probably not prettier than that one, but they're stupid expensive. I made that one out of some tubing and some flat bar. And then this piece back here on the back to tie the rear end, because see, the Miata has that strap across the top of it. It'll hang from those, but that's a bushing, so it has to have something to keep the bottom from torquing. This is just a piece of 6-inch, I believe, channel iron. I took the bolt out right here. It had a little old bar from there to there. I took that out, bolted this up, bolted the rear end to it. Nothing moves. Now the only thing, because of lack of bushings and all that kind of stuff, mounts, rubber mounts, you get a little engine feel, just like if you were to eliminate the motor mounts and put on the hard mounts, weld in, where you want to call them, without the rubber insulator. So it has a little bit of vibration that it didn't have before. I thought it may have been out of alignment or pinion angle, but I checked that and those are spot on. I had a brace, one of those stands underneath the transmission and underneath the rear end when I cut that bar out. Well, when I unbolted that I don't know what they call that thing. Anyway, it's made out of aluminum and it ties the rear end to the transmission. When I took that out, I had those both, it was sitting on the rack and I had them both supported, but because of the vibration, I was like, well, maybe I let that get off a little bit. But according to my digital angle finder, the pinion angle and the drive shaft and transmission are all in line. You know, they have the same degree of angle on the transmission as it does on the rear end, so it's not vibration there. It has to be just because all of this is pretty much hard mounted. I couldn't find a mount that would work here. I've got a piece of like it's kind of like a piece of rubber or something between the two right there, but it don't give very much. But it's fine. I don't care. I mean, I actually like it. Gives a little feel to the car instead of being just smooth and everything. What I can say is with this muffler and the side pipes, it's so much quieter that I can actually hear the engine running a little more than I used to be able to. So it's just got a different feel to it. I find myself going faster because I'm used to the sound of what it used to be, and I could, without a cruise control, I could keep the same speed pretty much all the time. You know, get on the highway and run 60 miles an hour and just by ear. Now I catch myself going faster than that just because it's so much quieter. So I'm gonna have to get that ear adjusted a little bit, so that'll work. But anyway, now we have, I don't know if this is the only first and only, I don't know, only one I've seen, but Mazda Miata side pipes. All right, guys, talk to you on the next one.